How to organize a speech, part one. This is going to be a 5-part series here to help you with organizing your speech as you go throughout creating that speech for you to get on stage or to speak in front of a boardroom or wherever you are creating some kind of a message. I want to be able to help you out, but we're going to specifically talk about getting on stage and speaking in front of people where there's not going to be interaction back, because we can have a presentation and a lot of times people will chime in, they'll ask questions throughout it, and it's very much structured, and it's more structured than what I like to do when it's a speech on stage. Although there is a really fishbone structure, if you will, or there's a skeleton behind this all. It's not okay, this is what you do, and this is next, and this is next, and this is next. It's very open, so you can fill it in with the fluff, if you will, be able to fill in that void. But I like to have a skeleton approach to all of my speeches. So part one, we're going to be talking about the opener, because the opener is a very, very important part. Just like doing videos on social media, if the first 3 seconds are not captivating your audience, they're going to move on to the next video. Luckily, whenever you're speaking on stage in front of a group of people, they can't just get up and leave. Well, I guess they can, but most likely they won't just get up and leave, but they'll tune out if you don't capture their attention from the very beginning. So that opener is all about capturing their attention, but it's also letting them know, them being the audience, what it is that you are going to speak on. If you're not giving them an upfront understanding what they're going to speak on, they may tune out as well. And this is also what will help you get the people that actually want to listen to listen. A lot of times we want everybody to listen, but not everybody is for us. So I want you to realize that no matter how amazing of a speaker you are, no matter how important the topic is, there's going to be people that could care less about your topic. So I want to make sure that you know that. So when we go into this opener, we have to, one, capture your audience's attention, and two, we want to make sure that they know exactly what we're talking about, so that way they can continue to be captured. So how do we go capture their attention in the first place? By asking a question that's specific around what the speech is going to be. So if we're going to talk about how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you may ask something like, has anybody here, and I would raise my hand at the same time, has anybody here ever made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before? That's going to ask a very directed question about what you're going to talk about. If you are making a speech about how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you say, who here has never made a sandwich before? Okay, that's a little related. Let me say, who here has been on a submarine before? Okay, that makes no sense. Why in the world would you ask that question? Unless if somehow you could relate it back in about how one time you had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on a submarine and it was so much better, or whatever. You can go down a story with that if it's a true story for you, or if you just want to somehow make some kind of joke out of it. I don't know a submarine, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich joke, except for me here, and you make a joke out of this now. But most likely there's not a tie-in with a submarine and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So you want to make sure that that question you ask is related with what it is that you're going to talk about in your speech. And it doesn't have to be funny. You could make it funny. Say, I could make a joke out of that if somehow it related back to the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But you want to make sure that it's related, make a joke, ask a question, make a factual statement about that's probably the first sandwich. If it's sandwich any kid makes, I can make a factual statement about my daughter. The very first sandwich that she ever truly ate was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, because she's never had a sub sandwich before or anything like that unless we took it apart. So that's the first sandwich she technically had. And you can make a statistical fact on that and not just say my daughter here, but you could say 90% of people in the world have had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Can you believe that? And go into detail about that a little bit. But that's really what your opener is that you make a statement, you ask a question, you engage your audience from the beginning and make sure that it's related to what you're going to speak on, and then talk about what you are going to speak on in your opener in order to make sure that you get your audience tuned in. As I said earlier, not everybody will listen, and that's what the opener is supposed to do. It's supposed to give the people permission that want to listen in to know that they should be listening in right now, because you're going to talk about the thing that they want to know about. But it also gives permission to the people that don't want to listen in because they don't want to hear your topic, and that's okay too. But just realize that there's going to be people that want to listen and people that don't want to listen. But that opener helps qualify who's actually going to pay attention and who's not going to pay attention. Because there's nothing worse as an audience member than to listen in thinking, oh man, I'm about to learn about this great new thing, only to find out that everything that you're teaching has nothing to do with that. I know we've all seen like weird commercials, or we've heard different businesses start talking about something, and then you're thinking, oh man, this is going to be great. I can't wait. This is going to help me so much, only to be let down and really feel mistrust from them because they led you down the wrong path. They really led you to believe that something else was going to happen. Kind of like a relationship with somebody. You start talking to them and the girl's being a little flirty, and she keeps flirting with you every time you're flirting with her, but really she just feels awkward if she doesn't, or if she does say something like, hey, stop flirting with me, leave me alone. So she kind of just keeps flirting with you and flirting with you, and really leads you on to think that, oh man, this girl's actually into me. And then finally when it's time to like, hey, let's go on a date, she's like, look, I'm not into you. I think you're a creep. And you're completely thrown off. You're like, what did I do wrong? Because you've been flirting back with me every time I flirted with you. So I don't understand what the issue is. Every time I talk to you, you talk to me. So you want to make sure that you don't lead people on with this opener as well. And so that is the reason why we kind of go into a summary of what we're going to talk about in the opener as well. So the opener is there to make sure that you get the audience engaged, make sure that you have the audience knowing exactly what it is that you're going to talk about so they know whether to listen in or not to lead them, and then also to capture their attention, to tell a fact, to tell a question, but really just literally opening up your speech so that way people know whether to tune in or not. And I hope this was helpful. Like I said, this is part 1 of 5 of the series of how to organize your speech. So in the next video, you will see what to do when it comes to the body and how to structure the body of your speech. So stay tuned, check back in, or if you're listening to this weeks or months after this airs, you will get to see the next video right away.